So apparently, Mark Burnett, the guy that did the reality show Survivor, did a mini-series for the History Channel called The Bible, and it debuted as some of the largest ratings ever in the history of television. And Mark Burnett and his wife have been going around talking about how they want to have this stuff taught to our kids in public schools. So obviously, I knew I had to check this out for myself. So I went over to the History Channel, which really is the history, what Dr. Pepper is to doctors. And this is what I found, man. Right away, we get a warning that basically says this is based on a true story. So you know this shit's going to be good. So in the beginning, there was an all-powerful, all-knowing God. And he was like, this sucks, man. What is the point of being so damn awesome if no one tells me how awesome I am? So he makes a couple people to kiss his ass, Adam and Eve. And of course, he makes them white, because fuck you every other race on earth. And obviously, he also makes them hot, because God don't make no uggos. So almost immediately, Eve starts fucking shit up, just like a woman would do. And then the next thing you know, motherfuckers are cracking each other in the head with rocks. And God says, fuck this shit, I'm murdering everybody. So God drowns all the men and women and children, all the innocent little babies, all the cute little animals, drowns them all brutally, except for White Noah, the whitest man in the Middle East, and his family, because God loves honkies. And White Noah's telling us about how God rested on the seventh day, because we all know there's nothing more that an all-powerful being needs than lots of rest. So the next thing you know, we have Abraham, who's a descendant of Noah, and he's on a mountain, and he's starting to hear voices, and the voices tell him, go into the next village, kill all the motherfuckers, and take all their shit. So that's what he does. He goes to the next village and kills all the motherfuckers and takes all their shit. And the next thing you know, he's banging his slave girl, who's really hot. And then the next thing you know, he's got a kid with his wife, and a kid with the slave girl, and his wife ain't having it. She's like, oh, hell no, that bitch gotta go. So Abraham banishes his own son and his slave girl out into the wilderness like the biggest douchebag in the history of Earth. And the next thing you know, Abraham's hearing voices again, and the voices are like, hey, you know that town Sodom? Well, they're having a little bit too much fun over there. They're having sex, drugs, rock and roll, dancing around, and I can't have people having that much fun, so I'm going to kill them all. And Abraham's like, my nephew Lot lives down there. So God's like, I tell you what, I'll send some angels down there to see if Lot is righteous. And Abraham's like, aren't you all knowing? Wouldn't you already know if Lot is righteous or not? What do you need angels for? And God's like, dude, you only send angels or not? And Lot's like, fine. So the angels go down there, they get the shit kicked out of them, and they're like, help us, these guys are trying to rape us. And so Lot is like, okay, I'll help you, dude. So he brings him inside his house and shuts the door. And the townspeople are pissed, man. They're like, let us rape those dudes. And Lot is like, how about I let you rape my little virgin daughters instead? And the townspeople are like, no, we want to rape those dudes, man. And then the dudes are like, fuck this shit, you ain't raping us, man. And they break all bad and go in slow motion. And the next thing you know, the angel's like, rape this motherfucker. And then they're all blind, and they're all screaming in agony. And the angel's like, let's get the hell out of here, dudes. And so they're all running away. And then suddenly the Asian dude's like, I got this shit. And he whips out his sword like he's fucking Kratos from the God of War, because obviously a supernatural angel will be using man-made weapons. And he just goes fucking Ninja Warrior on everybody. Starts slicing and dicing people. Pulls out some Matrix moves, man. Uses his drunken monkey kung fu. Just like an Asian would. And the next thing you know, they're running away from the city, and God's firebombing it, even though he can snap his fingers and have it disappear off the face of the earth. God's a drama queen, so he's got to firebomb that shit. And the angels are like, don't look back. But there's always one bitch who can't fucking listen. So she turns around and looks, and she turns to salt, because that's what happens when you look at shit God tells you not to, you turn to salt. And then the light covers his daughter's eyes up, and then later on takes him into the mountains and has an incestuous three-way with them. That's what the Bible really says. So the next thing you know, Abraham's hearing voices again, and the voices are like, hey, Abraham, why don't you murder your son? So Abraham's like, sounds good to me. So he gets his knife, and he takes his kid up on the hill, and he grabs him, and he starts tying him up. And he says, sorry, dude, I gotta kill you. And he puts him up there, and he's just about to stab him. And the voice in his head says, dude, I was totally just kidding. You're one crazy motherfucker. And then Abraham's like, but I gotta kill something. So the voice is like, well, then you gotta kill something. Just kill that innocent little cute lamb over there that never hurt a fly. So Abraham does. He murders that cute little lamb, and the son's like, get me the fuck away from this crazy asshole. And it turns out that kid grew up to have another kid named Israel, who led the Israelites who were God's chosen people. But God always shits on his people. So the next thing you know, these people are all enslaved by the Egyptians for 400 years, man. And the next thing you know, Moses is sword fighting with the Pharaoh for some reason. And then he cuts his face, and the Pharaoh's all pissed off. And the next thing you know, Moses is walking around, he's all bummed out, and he sees a dude beating a slave, and he's like, oh, hell no, and cracks that motherfucker with a rock. So he has to run and hide in a tent. And so one night, while he's hiding in his tent, he starts tripping balls, man. He starts seeing a burning bush, and the burning bush is like, dude, it's me, it's totally God. I need your help, Moses. I need you to go back down to Egypt and tell Pharaoh to let my people be free. And Moses is like, what the hell would you need me for, dude? You're all powerful. If you want your people free, just snap your fingers, they'd instantly be free. It doesn't make any logical sense. And God is like, dude, just fucking do it. So the next thing you know, Moses is down there saying, hey dudes, God sent me to set you guys free. And they're all like, why the fuck would God send you to set us free? He's all powerful. He can just blink his fingers so we'd instantly be free. It doesn't make any logical sense. And Moses is like, I know, right? God is crazy. So the next thing you know, Moses is in front of the Pharaoh and he's like, God says, let my people be free. And Pharaoh's like, fuck that shit. And Moses is like, you'll be sorry. So the next thing you know, the Pharaoh's bathing in the river. And Moses is like, watch this, dudes. And he totally turns the river to blood. And the Pharaoh's like, what the hell is this shit? And Moses is like, it's blood, bitch. Set my people free. And the Pharaoh's like, never. And Moses is like, all right, dude, I'm going to fuck you up. So the next thing you know, there's frogs everywhere. There's maggots. There's flies. There's dead animals. There's hell. There's boils. All kinds of bad shit going on. But the Pharaoh still says, fuck you, dude. So then Moses has to go down and break the bad news to his people that God's all pissed off. And he's going to kill everybody's firstborn son. And they're like, what the fuck, dude? Why would God take it out of our kids? Our kids have nothing to do with this, man. If God is mad and wants us to be free, then why doesn't he just snap his fingers and we'd all be free instantly? It doesn't make any logical sense. Why is he killing motherfuckers? But Moses is like, dude, you know God. He works in retardedly mysterious ways. But he gave me a loophole. All we got to do is kill a bunch of lambs, bleed them out, and then rub their blood above our doors, and he won't kill our children. And so they do that. They kill all these innocent lambs, they bleed them, and they rub the blood all over their doors and traumatize their kids. And their kids are like, why are we doing this? If God is all-knowing, wouldn't he automatically know which one of us are with him and which one of us aren't without us rubbing blood on our doors? And they're like, shut up, kid. And the next thing you know, the smoke monster is being sent down from heaven from God to kill everybody's firstborn kids. And he's like, go kill me some kids, go kill me some kids. Oh, can't kill your kid because you got blood on your door. I can't kill your kid because you got blood on your door, but I'm going to still kill me lots of kids. And that's exactly what he does, man. He kills lots of firstborn little babies. So anytime an anti-abortion person tells you that God is against killing babies, tell them they need to tell it to the Bible, man, because he clearly has no problem with it. And one of the kids he murders is the Pharaoh's son. Even though he had nothing to do with shit, man, he kills him anyway. And the Pharaoh's like, dude, really? You really had to kill my son, man? That's a fucking dick move. Uncool, dude, uncool. If you really want to be free that bad, get the fuck out, dude. And they're like, hooray! Our God murdered lots of innocent kids and babies so we can be set free. Isn't he awesome? Let's get the fuck out of here. So they get the fuck out of there, and they make it all the way to the Red Sea. And then, boom, the Pharaoh shows up out of the middle of nowhere and says, surprise, motherfuckers! I could have easily killed you while you're still inside my city, but I decided to let you all go so I could chase you down the Red Sea and kill you here for some reason. And everybody's like, we're fucked, we're fucked! But Moses is like, chill the fuck out, dudes, I got this. And he's like, Hadouken! And the water splits up, man. And everybody's like, holy fuck, dude! And Moses is like, run, bitches, run! So everybody does, they run, and as they run past Moses, they're like, I don't understand why God just didn't instantly beam us to the other side. Why does he go through all this pageantry? It doesn't make any logical sense. And Moses is like, just run, motherfuckers! And so they're running, and they all get to the other side. And the Pharaoh's the dumbest motherfucker ever. He never learns his lesson. And he's like, everybody run directly into certain death. And they're like, yeah, let's run into certain death. So they all do, they run into certain death. And Moses waits and they all get in there, and then all of a sudden he's like, wipe out! And then God sends the waves crashing down the soldiers, and they're all brutally murdered and died for nothing more than following orders like good little soldiers do. And then Moses is like, yay, God just brutally murdered all those dudes for us. Isn't God the shit? And the next thing you know, God orders Moses to climb a mountain to receive the 10 Commandments. But God can't make shit easy on anybody. There's lightning, and there's rain, there's thunder, there's hail, there's all kinds of wind. Moses is struggling to get to the top, and Moses is like, dude, do you want me to get these fucking 10 Commandments or not? And God's like, I want you to get them. I just want your ass to work for it. So finally he does get the 10 Commandments, and he brings them down the hill, and the dude's waiting for him, and the dude's like, it's a good thing you went up there all by yourself, where nobody can verify if what you said is true or not. Luckily for you, though, these stone tablets are so technologically advanced, there's no possible way you could have forged them yourself. They had to have come from God. And so the next thing you know, dudes, Moses and his people, despite God's promises, end up wandering around the desert lost for 40 fucking years. Because God is a total douchebag. And that's it, man. That's the History Channel's The Bible, parts 1 and 2 in under 10 minutes. I mean, if these aren't the ridiculous stories that primitive monkeys would tell each other, I don't know what is. You people really believe this stuff? Really? LOL, man.